Oh, it's hilarious. I don't belong here. I'm just happy to be alive somewhere in the world.
We are here today to talk about the Met Gala, and the theme of the night and of the exhibition accompanying the event was Heavenly Bodies, Fashion and the Catholic Imagination. I'm joined by Father James Martin, editor-at-large at America, and my name is Eloise Blondiau. So my first question for you, Jim, is what was it like being a real priest among many other people on the red carpet? And did people know that you were a priest, or did they assume that you were in costume?
I would say 3/4 of the people understood that I was a priest, and so hello, Father, and who are you? And I knew a few people. And then there were 1/4 of people who had no clue, seemingly what a priest was, and said all sorts of crazy things to me. Hey, bro, you got the best costume of the night. Are you a real priest? I like your costume. But you know, people don't know what to say. They get nervous. They're trying their best. I don't think they were not trying to be offensive. And so, you know, you take these things in stride. And Pope Francis likes to say, you try to meet people where they are.
Right.
And that night they were at the Met Gala, so you meet them there.
Right, and they're engaging with the Catholic imagination. How did you see people engaging with the faith or with God?
Well, lots of different ways. I mean, when you walked in, the first thing you were led into is the exhibit. And a lot of people were very interested in the way the Met, and that they did a tremendous job in displaying the exhibit, the garments sort of next to or juxtaposed with the religious art and some religious habits. But also the Sistine Chapel Choir was there, and people engaged with the Holy that way. And then also, you know, Cardinal Dolan was there too, doing a great job, and they were engaging with him. And then, of course, people engaged in their own ways with their fashion, with what they wore.
What did you think was the most surprising aspect of the event?
I think the most surprising aspect of the event for me was that people seemed a little out of their element, and that we're so used to sort of seeing Catholic things in the Catholic imagination here, and people seem not to know, some people seem not to know exactly what the antecedents or the provenance of some of these costumes in the exhibit were, and they were asking me questions. What's that? What's this? And that's a mitre, that's a cassock. I guess it's not surprising, but I think I work so much in the Catholic world, in the Catholic land, as I like to call it, that I'm always surprised when people seem to have no conception of where these costumes come from.
What do you say to people who might think that the event trivialized their faith?
Well, I think it's a good question. We have to distinguish between the exhibit, which was very serious, the one that the Met curated, that Andrew Bolton and his team curated, and is tremendous, and the gala. The gala is a big party, essentially. It's a fundraiser, so it's for a good cause. And, you know, whether or not someone wears an outlandish dress, I think the church is going to survive. I don't think that, you know, Rihanna wearing a Pope hat is really going to destroy the church. So, you know, really take it with a grain of salt, and also put things in perspective.
Right. And I think it's a good thing to see people trying to engage with the church and the faith, even if the outcome is not necessarily what Catholics would expect or would have wanted.
I think that's a good question, because when you see someone wearing a dress that seems a little outlandish, you have no idea what's going through their heart. This might be their own way of trying to engage or trying to celebrate in their own way. So we need to take that seriously too.
So Jim, were you personally offended by any of the outfit choices at the event last night?
At the gala, there were some I thought were a little over the top. It takes a lot to offend me. There was nothing that was kind of, disgusting or tasteless. I thought some of them were a little ridiculous, actually, and I thought some of the people wearing the dresses looked ridiculous. Not my cup of tea, but I wasn't offended. And once again, you never know what's in someone's heart. You never know how they're trying to pay tribute or celebrate at all. So what about you? Did you see anything offensive?
I personally was not offended. I think with an event like this, it's actually really interesting to see how the boundaries of the religious and the secular don't really exist, and there are just people doing their best to engage with this subject matter. And for example, I know that some people were uncomfortable with Rihanna's outfit because she was wearing a papal garb with shorts underneath, but personally I wasn't offended by that. It was a kind of an interesting way to admire part of the Catholic tradition, even though it may not have been anything that a Catholic would have chosen to wear. I thought it was interesting, and I think that was part of what the gala did well. It was thought-provoking, and it showed us how people perceive Catholics versus how Catholics maybe perceive themselves.
My biggest fear last night was stepping on one of those long trains.
Oh my
and I said
goodness.
that to Andrew Bolton, and he told me that he did that once, and you could hear this like little tear.
Oh
So
my
at least I didn't do that, so I made it out.
Well, don't they
unscathed.
have about 3 assistants per train following these people around?
Not once you get in. They were sort of being swept all over the floor. So I had to be very careful. But I was successful in not tearing anybody's $10,000 gown last night.
So Jim, thank you so much for speaking to me today about the Met Gala and the exhibit. And speaking of the exhibit, for those of you like myself who weren't able to attend the gala, you can go and see the exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum and the Cloisters. I highly recommend you do so. If you are interested in seeing more of our coverage of the event and the exhibition, you can go to our website at americamagazine.org. Thank you so much for watching today.